I'm tracing with facts, with historical ones this time. And today we're gonna analyze trace of a continent in a motion, Europe, a timeline of Europe shifting year to year from 1938 to 1942. Yes. And here we have the Axis war map at its peak in 1942. And let's debate over each step of the Axis expansion over Europe year by year. And first, we're gonna start back in 1938. Well, what happened in 1938? The first step of the German Reich expansion was annexation of Austria. So Austria was annexed in 1938 by Germany. Germany absorbs Austria into the Anschluss. I will write Anschluss. No major resistance from the Austrians. Many Austrians supported unifications with Germany. And this was the first step that opened the German expansion over Europe. Austria becomes part of Greater German Reich. But in the same year, another big event occurred. It's about Czechoslovakia. Sudetenland was taken in October 1938. Germany claims the Sudetenland. Ethnic where Germans were living, and with the Munich Agreement, forces of Czechoslovakia to cede without a fight. So the Munich Agreement forced Czechoslovakia to cede the Sudetenland without a fight. It was the first major diplomatic victory for Hitler. Well, that was in 1938. Well, in 1939, the entire Czechoslovakia was fully occupied, and Germany started to dismember the state, and Slovakia became a German puppet state in 1939. Czech lands become the protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia. Wow. As well, in 1939, everyone knows that with the invasion of Poland, the World War II just sparked. So in September 1939, German Reich initiated the Blitzkrieg with the invasion of Poland. The Blitzkrieg attack from Germany and USSR invades from the east, making the Poland a very weak enemy. Country is divided between the two powers, Russia and Germany. Western Poland becomes part of Germany, and Eastern Poland and Central becomes the brutal general government under Soviet influence. In 1940, 1940 became the year when Denmark was occupied in just a couple of hours with Operation Weserübung. Weserübung. Well, Danish government capitulates immediately to avoid total destruction. Well, Denmark was used as a protectorate and a bridge used mainly to access Norway. Well, Norway resisted the Blitzkrieg only 2 months, from April to June 1940. Germany invades Norway to secure iron ore and sea routes in the Arctic Ocean. After 2 months of fight, Norway capitulates. The most incursions and heavy fighting were at Narvik. The exiled government flees to London. The government of Norway flees to London. Next is Belgium. Belgium is a major breakthrough in 1940. Wow. Germans bypass French fortification by going through Belgium. King Leopold III surrenders after 18 days of fight. The country is placed under German military administration. Next, Netherlands. Well, Netherlands surrendered quickly after Rotterdam bombing in May 1940. German airborne and mechanized assaulted Rotterdam and heavily bombed. The city surrendered within nations. Queen Wilhelmina escapes to Britain. Luxembourg is occupied in just 1 day, and Luxembourg is the territory is forced with Germanization. France, northern half of France, like you may see here on the map, is occupied. Vichy is created June 1940. France collapses after 6 weeks of resistance, and with the fall of France, the northern Atlantic coast is entirely occupied by German Reich. South becomes the Vichy of France, which is a free region who was cooperating with Germany. In that time, the French North Africa, composed by Algeria and Morocco and Tunisia, remained under the Free Vichy France control until 1942. Next, Channel Islands. Well, Channel Islands in the United Kingdom were the only British territory occupied in June 1940. Britain evacuates entirely the islands and Germany uses the propaganda as the first conquered British soil. Well, that happens only in 1940. So, let's have a look. Only 1940 happens. So, next in 1941, let's move. Well, now we go a little bit East Europe and Central one. Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia is invaded after a coup in 1941. So, coup. Yugoslav officers overthrow the pro-Axis government. The response of Hitler, he retaliates with full invasion. Country breaks apart. Croatia becomes an Axis puppet. Serbia under German military rule. And some areas were given to Italy and Hungary and Bulgaria. Well, next, Greece overrun after Italian failure in 1941. Italy invades in 1940 but fails. Germany intervenes in 1941, capturing Athens. Quickly, Greece is divided. Germany controls the key areas. Italy controls most of the mainland. Bulgaria takes the northeast. The Baltic states. The Baltic states. Well, Baltic states were taken during Operation Barbarossa, June-July 1941. Barbarossa. Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania had been annexed by USSR in 1940. So, annexed by USSR in 1940. Germans take them during the invasion of the Soviet Union. They were placed under Reichskommissariat Ostland. Reichskommissariat Ostland. And now let's talk about the main event of the 1941 Operation Barbarossa and how Soviet Union resisted massive German advance. Well, Operation Barbarossa was the largest invasion in our history. In the Operation Barbarossa, Germans captured most of the Ukraine, Belarus, somewhere here, the Baltic region, and Smolensk, Rostov, and Kharkiv. The main goal of Hitler is to reach the gates of Moscow. Millions of civilians fall under occupation. Finland, co-belligerent, accepted Germans' administration, becoming a puppet state. Well, so not forget that Finland was freshly out of winter war with Soviet Union. So when Finland joins the attack to recover lands of the USSR lost in 1939 and 1940. It was not formally Axis, but fully aligned military with German administrations, accepted Finnish troops push into Karelia and Kola Peninsula, as well to Leningrad, which now is St. Petersburg. Next, 1942. Well, in 1942, Vichy France, Germans' expansion into the new zones after Allied landing in the Northern Africa, Germany fully occupies France. Italy occupies southern France, and Vichy regime loses the entire autonomy. In 1942 was the peak of Axis control over Europe. Axis territory. So, the peak of Axis control, which was formed by German Reich and its allies, Italy, main allies. Territory stretches from the Atlantic coast of France, Germany, and Norway down to Greece, across Libya, in Africa, and deep into the Soviet territory of Volga and Caucasus, and Europe was dominated by Axis military, political, and administrative power. The only neutral states remained were Turkey, Sweden, Switzerland, Spain, Portugal, and Ireland, and the allies were composed by United Kingdom, Iceland, and the countries from Levant under French and British control. Well, and that brings us to the end of our timeline. From Austria at the beginning to the gates of Moscow, we followed each step, each border, each moment in a world transformed by World War. Thank you very much for attending, and I want to remember that this video was only the sole purpose is to be an informative one. And discretion advised, okay? Until next time, I wish you all the best. Bye bye. So,